We have been chit-chatting for a long time now. We're going to continue with our top story. Facebook's oversight board has decided to uphold the platform's ban on former President Trump, at least for now. The 20-member board, which is independent but funded by Facebook through an endowment, agreed with the original determination that Mr. Trump's posts encouraged violence amid the deadly assault on the Capitol. However, the board also criticized Facebook's indefinite suspension and is calling for a more concrete decision on his Facebook and Instagram accounts in the coming months. So joining us now to talk more about this decision is Shoshana Zuboff. She's a professor emeritus at Harvard Business School and author of The Age of Surveillance Capitalism. I'm trying to get through that really quickly because I know you've been hanging on forever with us. So Professor Zuboff, just give me your initial reaction to the Oversight Board's decision.
My initial reaction is that, you know, we're chasing around a donut. We're chasing around the rim of a donut. Everybody's looking for what should be in the hole, and it's not there. And what should be in the hole are clear criteria that exist under the rule of law with public transparency and accountability, so that we as a society can decide, we as a democratic society can decide, how is it that this unprecedented new medium that we call the internet should be governed? What should the rules of the road be if we want to have a democratic and a digital future?
Mm-hmm. So the question then, Professor, is what precedent does this decision set for the future of social media platforms, free speech from politicians and world leaders? And as Anne-Marie has pointed out throughout the course of our discussion this morning, President Trump is a former president of the United States. He is now a private citizen. So certainly all eyes were on this decision, perhaps for how it relates to what we've seen, for example, in Myanmar, or what we've seen in the Philippines with how elected officials there have used Facebook. But what does that mean going forward for politicians and future politicians who've been voted out of office?
Well, look, everyone today is muddling through this thing because Facebook never had and does not have clear criteria for what it does about anything, let alone how it has handled Mr. Trump, not only in this most recent decision, which, by the way, was not a ban. It was an indefinite suspension, which is, part of, the chasing our tails around this donut. This so-called oversight board was a device that Mr. Zuckerberg created and funded, as you suggested, endowed. And the idea here is that they are somehow going to, clarify the rules of the road. Well, nobody voted for them. They have no democratic legitimacy. These kinds of things are usually decided by public law and public institutions. And now, as everybody's been waiting, please, oversight board, do what we think is best. What have they done? They've kicked the can right back to Facebook. And, this would kind of be a Charlie Chaplin situation if it wasn't so consequential for American democracy and democracies around the world. By kicking the can back to Facebook, they've kicked it back to an economic juggernaut based on surveillance economics that actually profits from all of the crazy information that is produced by Mr. Trump's falsehoods and the falsehoods of other individuals and organizations and networks and organized disinformation campaigns about politics, about COVID, and all the rest. So by sending it back to Facebook, we sent it back to a donut with a void in the middle. And that void is where democracy is supposed to be. When we ask the question, what should the rules of the internet be? How should we govern and manage communication on this unprecedented medium? We know the answer. We have the answer because we faced this kind of thing before in our history as a democracy. A century ago and more, in every industry, at the beginning of the industrial century, business owners had all the power. They had all the decision rights. They decided everything. And we figured out that that really wasn't working very well. We needed to have rights and laws and institutions that would stand not just as a reflection of who's in the White House, not just as a reflection of what private industry wanted, but would stand on their own clear, objective criteria with public accountability and transparency, because they live under public law. They live under democracy. They live in the people's house. This is what we're missing. And so if you ask me, what is the implication of this decision? The implication is, once again, we are forced to just press our noses up against that blank window looking into this void, where we must begin the work of inventing the democratic institutions just as we did a century ago. Whether it was the FDA or the Federal Reserve or the Security and Exchange Commission or the National Labor Relations Board, we invented those things that were going to preserve workers' rights and consumers' rights in a new and unprecedented age of new challenges that we had never encountered before. That's the work we have to do now, and that's what this crazy kind of circular, almost comedic operation that we see before us with Facebook and its so-called oversight board, that's what it's telling us. Democracy has to step into the void. We have to step into the void.
Professor Zuboff.
Professor, you're saying that we're all having the wrong conversation. We shouldn't be talking about what Facebook or this board is doing. We should be talking about what our government is doing.
Well, that and it's
Yes,
fascinating.
And it's such an important conversation, Professor, because I've noted that you've been quite vocal and critical on your own social media about what you call this surveillance that is happening by some of these companies like Facebook. And you reference, for example, Maria Ressa, who we know very well in the Philippines, and others. And so we'd love to have you back to talk more about that, because I've sort of also, and Anne-Marie has heard me discussing this, talking about how social media, the way it's used today, is similar to the way, for example, radio has been used in the past. Specifically, I was referencing the Rwandan genocide and how radio aligned with government, which led ultimately to 1 million people being killed in that genocide. So there's a lot to talk about, and we'd love to have you back, but we have to wrap it up here now. But please do come back to talk to us about this.
I'd love to. And Anne-Marie, you got it in one. It's the wrong
Thank you.
conversation. We need a conversation about democracy, not about Facebook.
Thank you, Professor.